You may have noticed a new feature called the Men Improvement Initiative. This new feature means that you can give direct feedback to guys and you can tell them when they're being douchebags. This means that when you're talking to a guy and he says a comment that makes your eyes roll, then you can send him an animation of 2 eyes rolling. Tinder will collect this data and it will then have a list of all the guys that you think are douchebags. And it will target those guys and try and prompt them to change. Now let's put aside the fact that this is incredibly sexist. This particular feature is only targeted at men, and it assumes that it's only men who can be douchebags, when we all know, ladies, that is not true. Let's put aside that fact just for a second, because that's not why I want to talk to you. The reason I'm doing this video is because this new feature is going to create more douchebags. The reason I say this is because Tinder is a marketplace, and like any other marketplace, you're going to have people that are in demand and you're going to have people that are not so in demand. And guess what, ladies? You are the ones who are in demand. But then you've got guys. Most guys are not in demand. Most guys are your average Joe, earning 30 grand a year, not particularly good looking and not particularly ugly. Maybe he says a cringy comment every now and then. Those guys are in abundance on Tinder, and Tinder can afford to lose some of them. That's why they're pandering to you, ladies. But then there's another group of guys who are in demand. They are the guys who are like the top, 1, 10, 20%, maybe more of the male population. They're the guys that every woman wants to date. We can call them alpha males. We can call them the guy who earns over 70 grand per year. He has a chiseled jaw and a 6-pack, and he has good banter. He looks like he's got a bit of emotional intelligence. All the markers of success that most women find attractive and most women want. And what Tinder does is it relies on women swiping right and those guys being in demand. And I'm going to say that even if you are only looking for a hookup on Tinder, ladies, I know what's going on in your head. You see an alpha male and you think, wow, I'm not looking for a relationship right now, but you know what? He's hot. I'm going to see if I can get into bed with him. So you talk to him, you hook up, you have a good time. But then you're thinking, you know what? He was actually quite nice. I wouldn't mind having a long-term relationship with him. And secretly you're pandering to see him again. But I tell you what's going on in his mind. He's thinking, ooh, who else can I meet up with next? I've got Becky, I've got Lucy, I've got Mary, I've got this woman and that woman. He has literally got all of the women to choose from. And he ain't thinking about you again. Then you speak to another guy who is an average Joe. And he says a cringy comment. And you send your eye roll animation to Tinder. And Tinder targets him as a douchebag. Then he gets some kind of response from Tinder and thinks, screw this, why should I stay on Tinder being told I'm a douchebag? I'm not a douchebag. I'm not perfect, but I'm not a douchebag. And he disappears. Then after a while, you start looking on Tinder and you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm done with hooking up with those guys. I'd quite like to have a long-term relationship. Or you're still trying to hook up for a long-term relationship with the alpha male. Now, with this particular scenario, what I think Tinder should be doing is saying to you, ladies, why would the alpha male want to settle down with you? Take one look in the mirror. Tell yourself, what do I have to offer that all those other ladies don't? And then make a judgment about where you are in the sexual marketplace. And then, once you've realised you're not going to attract the alpha male, then you need to go and find the average Joe before he disappears completely.